Minasan, konnichiwa, actually konbanwa, since it's 11 p.m. here in Tokyo. First, I want to just do this once. Give me the chance to do this once. Unfortunately, as you know, and I really want to start with the news, Japan has decided to ban new foreign arrivals for 1 month over the fears of Omicron virus variant, and that's what I want to discuss with you today. At the same time, please let me know if you can hear me well. I'm trying a new software for the live streaming, so I just want to make sure that the audio is okay before I continue. So I'm checking the chat, but I'll just wait for the chat to catch up. And thank you so much for all of you to be here. I wanted to create this space for discussing with all of you about the situation. Maybe we can share some information since everything is very fresh. Audio is okay. Thank you, Carls, for that, and Roll as well. So I'll keep going. I think it's important to share information since the news just arrived noon today, and maybe we heard different things. So being us all together here is also a way to talk and share information. So I would like to ask, I think already 130 people here, but since the more we are, more information we can share. If you can help me to let as many people as possible know about this streaming, just sharing this with any community you're familiar with, or anyone that you think is interested in knowing about the update to the Japan travel ban, so we can get started with as many people as possible. I can see the counter growing, is already under 50 now. Thank you very much. Please keep sharing. The more we are, more information we can share tonight for me, probably today for you. So let me go first while you guys are sharing and helping this streaming to get very, very busy. I want to share with you the news, so we are all on the same page here. Let's see if this software works. I think you should see the news now. Yes. And Japan will close its borders to new entries by foreigners amid concern over the new Omicron variant of the novel coronavirus. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said Monday, has he vowed to move quickly to avoid the worst case scenario. The measure will take effect Tuesday and last for about 1 month. Japan has just eased the ban of new entries by foreigners on November 8, allowing business people, students, and participants in its technical internship program on condition that their host organization agreed to monitor their activities. Of course, it's not written here, but we know that no one could enter, almost no one. I don't know if some workers made it, but almost no one could enter because of the extra procedures. So actually no one could enter. They closed something that never really opened. Also, Kishida said closing the border is a temporary measure until information about the Omicron variant becomes clear, adding that when dealing with an unknown risk, it's best to take every precaution. Regarding what Kishida said, I have an extra note since he just tweeted 1 hour ago. There is a new tweet from Kishida 1 hour ago, so maybe not everyone of you have seen it. I used Google Translate since it's easy. We are managing the administration with the idea that we should be cautious about unknown risks. I will take all the criticism that Kishida is too cautious, even though I do not understand the situation yet. We ask for the understanding and cooperation of all the people. So basically this is Kishida saying that I know I'm extremely cautious. I will take the criticism, but we need to deal with unknown risks in a very cautious way. And reading the comment, of course, besides my comment, which is a bit critic, I say here in this comment to his tweet that the fact that, again, this is a political and meaningless ban, because, again, it's not banning, it's not closing the country for everyone. Still, Japanese people can go out even for tourism. We know that MEX students actually can still enter. This is not confirmed, but I saw this on Twitter. It seems that dear incoming MEX scholars, as you have very likely seen, Japan is tightening its border once again, this time to prevent the introduction of the Omicron variant into the country. That being said, we are happy to inform you that we have spoken with MEX directly and confirmed that this new border restriction will not apply to MEX scholars. So again, this is not for everyone. There is still all the Japanese people that will be able to go out and in the country, and still MEC students, for some reason, maybe they think they I don't know, they have special rights at this point. They can still continue to enter Japan. However, worker students will be banned, and that's been confirmed also from Kishida in his tweet. So that's the situation now. And before I go back to the comments, and I want to really talk to you and have a kind of discussion with all of you tonight. I want to just mention that I spoke with the language schools tonight, actually at 9 p.m. So just before the streaming. That's why I started very late. I wanted to clarify a little bit information. It seems that unfortunately the procedure, including the issue of the new examination certificate, or Shinsasumisho, will be stopped. So if you were in the process, if you were a student from last year in the process of getting the examination certificate, you're probably going to hear from your school that the procedure will stop. However, I decided I and the schools will promptly ask to resume at least the procedure for getting the examination certificate, because we can use this time to get it, or just take it out completely, since what really the immigration needs is a signature from you that you understand the rules and you apply for the rules. So all this extra process is actually really useless, as you all already know. So we will try to move in that direction as soon as possible. Again, I think a quick action is very important now, asking for either you keep processing students waiting, or you have to take out this extra step completely. So when the border reopen, hopefully soon, students can be processed right away, and we don't have to restart completely from zero. So that's one thing we will be doing. Also, we are planning to have another event, inviting as many media as possible, because I think at this point everyone needs to know how terrible is the situation, how Japan is mistreating not just students but also, of course, workers, families, everyone that was waiting to enter once more. Absolutely creating this travel ban, making this travel ban only for certain categories. We know that Japanese people can still go out and in the country, so if any variant will be brought in, it still can be brought in, because the country is not completely closed. So that's what I want everyone in the world to know, and maybe I will ask help from all of you to spread our next event and try to raise awareness as much as possible, because we need to work together on this. This is absolutely an unacceptable situation. It's absolutely unfair, and all of you don't deserve that, because you've been waiting, you've been listening, you've been following the procedure, you've been applying for the second time, asking a new certificate, and now everything stops in one day. So maybe I don't look pissed, but I'm very pissed right now, of course. But yeah, so that's the situation. How fast can your company get me to Korea? Sorry, I just noticed this question. I mean, we have a service for Korea called gogoanguk.com. I'm not here to advertise, of course, studying Korea, but since someone is asking, Korea has been accepting students even now. They didn't close to as Japan did. They just took action for certain African countries. As you know, Korea has never closed to students during those 2 years. So if you are looking for studying abroad in a different countries, you can see in the description of this video. In all my videos, I always point to gogoanguk.com, and you can inquire us. But let's talk also about Japan. So let's. I'm gonna go through your comments first, and see what you guys are feeling, and try to discuss with you about the situation. But if you have any other news, any update, anything relevant that I didn't mention in my introduction, please write it and I can share with everyone else. So yeah, I don't understand why Yamuimo-chan say, I don't understand why Japanese people can go outside and come back again, but it closed for us. Why? Yeah, I think because the ban is purely political. I think a lot of people are worried about this new variant. I'm not going to comment about how dangerous is the new variant, because I think it's very early and I'm not a scientist or a virologist. I don't have the qualification to do so, but I know that a lot of people are worried, and the first thing the government says is just, okay, we don't let the people from abroad enter. And that sounds really, really strong, right? It's some strong move that Japan is doing right away. But of course, they don't say the reality that they only close for making the message, but Japanese people can still go out and in. They don't really specify that. So I think it's a very political message. It's pretty meaningless. Still, there is a high chance to bring the variant in, since people are going out and in. Yes, for this month it's better to process all extra documents or removing entirely. That's what we are trying to do. So we're gonna make a new request right away about that, and push to get it accepted. There is not much more we can do at this point. We just heard about this today. We have no we couldn't anticipate this before. Japan is giving me a depression, anxiety. I know many of you are having reasonably, I mean, of course, a lot of stress. They're feeling really bad about it, but we are a big community. There is a lot of people that are impacted by this, so no one of you is alone. Just try to prepare a plan B and also do something on the side. Don't just look to the news every day, because this, again, hopefully will take only an extra month, or a certain time to verify that this new variant is not as dangerous as someone think. But at the same time, you can't be affected so much by a decision taken by certain individuals, which is the Japanese government, that are at the top and are obviously not thinking about what we think, because that's been proved months after months. So we can't expect that tomorrow they change their way to think. I think they will still try to open the borders. I'm not thinking that they will never open, but obviously they are more concerned about the way they look, the way they sound. They want to show that they take strong decision, and the only decision they are taking is basically just telling that they close the borders. So we need to, you need to also have other things to focus in those days, in those weeks. You also have to have a plan B. And if someone is not willing to wait longer, I think it's perfectly understandable. If someone wants to wait, I will do my best to keep supporting you as we have been doing until now. So I won't be stopping, of course, and I mentioned at the beginning of this video the actions that we are going to take. Sorry if I'm talking about a little bit long about each comment, but I'm also very emotional about this right now. It's just a recent news. All countries should suspend Japanese travels. Mita, I think that could work, but it's difficult also to convince every other country at the same time. As you've seen, I think the pandemic has shown, if one thing, that it's really hard to coordinate. I think if all other countries would stop accepting Japanese people, I think it will work, but it's very difficult, again, to get this done at the same time. Border will open December 2023. Okay, that's no one really can say that. I think that's too much. 7 December, yeah, Mingma, I feel so sorry for you, because 7 December was so close. I don't think it's good or bad luck. It's just a terrible situation we are all in. I think many people were supposed to go. Does Korea accept tourists? Actually, Averitius, it could be strange, but Korea is also accepting tourists. They're not making differences. If you do the 2 weeks quarantine and you still want to go as a tourist, you can do. Actually, I also work with Gogo Hanguk, which is a study in Korea agency, and we also had students go in this summer for a 1 month program. They did 2 weeks quarantine, and 2 weeks they studied and did activities in Korea. So Korea actually still accept tourists, and I mean, there was no cluster caused by students or anyone that has done quarantine after going out. Of course, you stay 14 days, you surely can get out without bringing the virus in. Davide, I created a poll on Twitter to see the impact of this new travel ban on people's mood. If you could share, so we can have as much data as possible. Thank you very much. Okay, Bastian, send me a DM on Twitter later, and then I will share it. Thank you. I'm just too busy since as always, just by myself, especially at this hour of the night. I can't ask anyone, my staff or anyone to support me. I'm the only one so crazy to be doing this at 11 p.m. So I can't do too many things at the same time, but I will do after I finish this streaming. Can we point out to foreign consulates in Japan and Ministry of Foreign Affairs of our country? I think train wreck. I think that's a good idea. I think it's we should surely push more our internal government institutions, because obviously from one side, me in Japan, I can try to reach the Minister of Education, not directly because I don't have this power. As I always said, I work together with language schools that have better connections with Japan. They can surely do so in Japan, but you as foreigners, I think it's going to be very hard for you to reach government institutions in Japan, but you can do as much as you can with your local Ministry of Foreign Affairs or embassies. If you are, for example, from France or from Italy, you can contact the Italian embassy in Japan, the France embassy in Japan. I mean, they should really support us more, to be honest. I really think that they should be doing a better job to support us in this endless wait. After two years waiting, I also thought about changing to Korea. That's perfectly understandable. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone has to really do what is in their mind and heart right now. Some people can wait. Some other people want to have just a plan B, a plan C, and other people maybe they just want to move on and go to Korea, for example. Australia is only closing for 2 weeks and they are strict. Yeah, Australia actually said that they will postpone the opening. They were supposed to open in December. They will postpone by 2 weeks, as Rihanna said, and they are one of the most strict. Japan has been the strictest, especially recently, but with this decision of closing a month at least for everyone, I think they just want to see everyone else, and they will just want to decide when it's super safe. No, I don't know, like no accountability, not trying to support, for example, you guys waiting. It's just an extreme worry. I think no sixth wave plus no replacement of Omicron over Delta, more positive answer would be there. Yeah, I'm sure that in 2-3 weeks we know exactly how this Omicron goes, and hopefully, since we won't create any problem, we can move on. But we still want Japan to keep processing those examination certificates, or just take them completely out, because otherwise, if we start from January or end of December or January, from we are now, and we still need to process all these students from April, they should just be ready to enter immediately and when the border reopen. We are fully vaccinated. Why stopping us? I have no idea. Asis is a very good question. Grazie, Alexander. Thank you for your comment, support. I always appreciate all of you when you show support, not just to me, but all the actions of the people I work with, because it's really nice to hear. Do embassy have the power to change things, even just a little? I don't think so. They are not decision makers. They cannot tell the government what to do, but they can create pressure. Like, of course, we don't have any power as well. I don't have any power, but we try at least to put some pressure, to talk with NHK, to talk with news media, newspaper. I mean, I've never done this before, and I started doing this year because it was necessary. Embassy have surely more power than I do, and if they were doing all of them the same, I think they would have gotten something by now. Will the language school pressure us for online classes? I really hope not with this news. Read one, but I'm also not in control of this policy. I always advise them to don't do so. But I again, I'm just one person. I know that this had to be a punch. You and your group have worked so hard. Yes, Roland. I think you described really well. It's like a punch, or we say sometimes cutting your legs. You feel you got a little bit, and then pump. But at the end, we won't stop, because we wanna go until the end. We wanna make all of you all of you that still want to come to Japan, to be in Japan. I know that some of you have changed their mind, but who wants to go in Japan? I mean, my mission is to make this possible as soon as possible, and I won't be stopping supporting you for sure. What about COE certificate that will expire at the end of January 2022 and can enter the country? I'm sure the COE certificate, okay, so again, this is not my decision. When I say I'm sure, it's more like what I feel. I feel that COE certificates will be extended because they don't want to make you reapply. So I think we shouldn't be worried about that. Yeah, so Marco, hi Davide, for those like me who have already sent the question for the Shinsa Zumi show, what happened? Will they stop to make it? I think you say you mean to give me the certificate. I think right now what they said is that they will stop the process and continue when they reopen the borders. However, I think that's really too much, and I hope at least they can change their mind on that. But again, that's I can just ask them. So Marco, to answer your question, at the moment it will stop. It will stop, unfortunately. I know you were one of the, I think from the way you write, you were an April 2020 student, so you were almost going to be in Japan. So it must be really, really hard for you, like everyone else. It's still unsure if the vaccination worked for the new variant. Again, it's very hard for me to comment on the virus or the variant because I'm absolutely not an expert. I think we should wait a week at least, or maybe 10 days to see what happens, because in a week or two things will change a lot. And what I hope is that things really settle down, people calm down, and also it's clear that this variant is not as bad as people are thinking, and all the different governments reopen the borders, and also Japan after this month decide to reopen the borders. Thank you, Provoking Purge, racist Japan's government, GB. I mean, what they're doing is absolutely racist with this travel ban only for foreign new entries, while still Japanese people can go out and in, since the virus doesn't look to the passport. If you go to a country, doesn't matter your nationality, you have the same chance to bring the virus. So their actions from the government are absolutely racist right now. Yeah, by the way, COEs were extended to April. Yes, that's also true. But I think again they will extend in any case. Oh yes, Bastian, actually you asked me before as well. So the schools are absolutely shocked as well. They think that everything that is happening now has absolutely no, there is not a line, like, you know, they first made a very complicated process and no one could enter, and then now suddenly they shut the border and they stop also the process. So they're extremely confused as well. Since the news came out today, the schools were worried since Friday last week, to be honest. And I also was worried because when you start seeing some governments closing the borders to some countries, you can expect, oh my God, Japan, is it going to do the same or is it going to do more? So from last Friday we were worried, and then this news came out, and it was more than we thought, because we thought that maybe Japan was closing only to some countries, not to every country. So schools are still a little bit shocked as well. I think they worked so much to prepare all the documents, and then now everything has been stopped. But they are trying to get answers. So I think I can work together with them to at least inform you about what's going to happen, and trying together again to put some pressure at least to Ministry of Education, which has control. The Ministry of Education cannot decide about the borders, cannot say that, oh, open the borders, but can at least decide to simplify the procedure, and maybe, you know, more students can enter. There is now they're looking to the date of the certificate of eligibility. That's a Ministry of Education decision. So hopefully that thing can change. Max students, yeah, Max students is so strange. Why? I know, because there are not many. So probably it's a very unfair reason, but it could be that because there are not that many, they will control them and they can let them enter, but it's not right. You know, if you can't let these like mixed or whatever group of students enter and other students not. I mean, this is absolutely unreal in 2021. I can't change the country to study because that's the language I need to learn. Yes, so I know that many of you can't or don't want to change country to study, and because of that I'm here to support you. I cannot make miracles, unfortunately, otherwise you would have already been all in Japan. But you know, any idea, any petition, anything we can do together, we will be doing. As I mentioned at the very beginning of this streaming, we are working on an event where also the international press and Japanese press will be invited to talk more about students. I know many of you have already been interviewing with NHK, with Yomiuri. I'm always trying to set up those interviews. Almost every day now we have some newspaper that wants to talk to students, and I try to, you know, to connect, or maybe workers, I try to connect, because it's important that at least more people know about it. So that's what I can definitely do. And I hope this will help to improve things soon. My language school got very angry, actually. They are just, so yeah, schools are, Gregory, thanks for confirming that. Schools are very happy, very sad. I mean, this is really impacting them really bad. Imagine that you don't also lose students, but you also get to do all this extra work for nothing. And same as you have to prepare these extra documents, and now you still cannot enter Japan. So it's a bad situation for many. And even workers, and even families, and even companies waiting for workers to come in, they're all in the same situation. They've been trying, they've been working, and then suddenly, pam, nothing happens. So there are many unhappy people. That's what I can say. When the border reopen, we don't know, Avi. They said for now this decision is for 1 month. So we could estimate at least 1 month where the borders will be closed, and then we will see. Thank you, Davi, for your comment. What about the process of screen certificate for tomorrow? The screen certificate seems that has stopped. So unfortunately, the process will not continue. But we are still gathering information, one. And second, we will be asking to at least continue the procedure, even if they, for now, decided to stop. I have a question regarding current residents. Did you have recommendation to not go back to your country for year and holiday, Christmas? No, I don't have any recommendation yet. Sorry, I lost the comment, but I lost the person who made the comment, but because so many comments are coming in. Okay, it's difficult at night to talk for so long. My mouth is so dry. Sorry. No, I didn't have any recommendation to stay. I actually have co-workers and friends that have left or a few days ago or are leaving now. It seems that local residents will be treated as Japanese people. And again, I'm very sorry for you. I know that sounds really bad and weird for you. But it seems that we will be able to re-enter with quarantine. So in that sense, there is not this kind of alert yet. Sorry, there is so many comments, I can't really read all of them. I'm sorry for being so rude, but they're hurting our feelings. What a waste of time. Yeah, I'm sure that this is hurting a lot of people. What we suggest to point out to the embassy? I would like to call, but I'm not sure it's better to tell them. I think it could be great for everybody to say the same thing. I think that's something we could think of. I don't want to come up with something so late at night with my, today was a very busy day, of course, but Nina, it's a good point. Maybe we can come up with some kind of common message altogether. But generally speaking, I think embassy should, by definition, the embassy is working for its citizens. So if you are, for example, from Spain, Spanish embassy in Japan should work for Spanish citizens that wants to travel or they are living in the host country. So they should really support you. They should try to protect your interests. And obviously, all of your interests have been hurt so bad by this travel ban. And while last year many countries were doing so, right now Japan is keep being the only country with such extreme measures. It's been closed for so long as the only country in the G7, not only, but in the world, pretty much not letting workers and students. Then they reopen with a very weird procedure that basically made impossible for anyone to enter. So this year no one could really enter so far. Maybe only the first 2 days of January of this year, which I think is the only country with China at the moment that is procedure. And still, Japanese people could go out and in all this time. So it's a really unfair situation. I don't know the best words right now to explain this to the embassy, but that's the concept, right? Already been 1 year waiting for embassy to call, but like to call back you, like you try to contact, I think, and then they didn't contact you, right? And then let me, there's so many comments that thank you, but it's I'm sorry if I miss some of your comments. Tell the travel ban is racist, that ought to get their attention. Yeah. I had the screening certificate. I was just waiting to work on the visa. It's so hard. Do you think it will reopen in a month? Why Japan don't do a quarantine process of 21 days like in Hong Kong? To be honest, I don't think 21 days are even necessary, because I think the recent scientific data, they found that maybe 10 days is even enough to find if you have taken the virus or not. So I wouldn't suggest to extend the quarantine. I'd done quarantine when I went to Italy and back to Japan in July this year, and 14 days is a long time. So I wouldn't really, I know what you want to say. You want to say do more quarantine, but at least let us go in. But I would just say, you know, even if you're vaccinated, you should even have less quarantine, and they should let people enter like everywhere else in the world. We should go on strike, standing in front of every Japanese embassy in the world. All of us, the same day, posting pictures, comments. Students deserve justice. Yeah, Alexander, I mean, that's also an idea. I'm not organizing anything so late at night, but I'm just reading your comment. And I have an appointment today with the Japanese consulate in order to get a visa to enter Japan. I will find out what's going on and see if I still can do it. Okay, link PC. I think if you can like leave today, maybe, but make sure that you understand the rules and everything, because they may just send you back. But by any means, keep us updated if you're able to enter Japan, or if you get any updates and any new info. As I said at the beginning of this video, everything is new. It just came up today. I read the news early in this video, and few things will be clarified in the next days. Plus, hopefully, in a couple of weeks, we understand that this new variant is not as dangerous as the governments think, and those procedures will come down. Can we apply for COE? Yes. So again, this is a bit strange, but Amrit, you can still apply for a COE, and probably the COE will be issued, but that doesn't mean that you can enter Japan right now. But if you want, of course, if you're planning to come, for example, to study in July 2022, you can apply for a COE regularly and everything. It all seems like political things rather than policy based on scientific evidence. Mouvet, I am 100% agree with you. It's all political. I hope your business does well through this. What do you think would happen if the government see the virus to be too dangerous or infectious to open borders? When open, with what restrictions? So thanks for a thought about the business, about our employee staff. I mean, they're also going through a lot of extra work, extra documents, and we never see the end of the tunnel like you students, like you workers. But I know that this is, again, it's just one extra hurdle, and eventually we will get to Japan. We will get you to be in Japan. So I know that there will be that point. If the government see the virus to be too dangerous or infectious, I think it's going to be up to them to see where they wanna direct the country. I think more time passes and more pressure, the pressure of companies and institutions that need the borders to open, at least to certain categories like students and workers, will be stronger and stronger, and the government need to listen more and more. But at the end, the government can decide, since they are the only one with the power of opening and closing the border. So it's really hard for me to imagine. We want to hope that this new variant is not as dangerous as the government think. Many can get to so many countries, do their terms abroad, and still they are so unfair towards us. Give us hope and take it with no sorry and no lookout. Yes, I understand it's really, really unfair. I need to charge my computer, so please stay with me because it's going to, okay, yeah, it's a little technical issue, but I fixed it before it got too bad. I got a COE 2021. That's not specific enough, Mohammed. When? Oh no, June. Sorry. When it will expire, sir? I think COE has been extended. Most of COE. Sorry, it's a bit late here. I don't want to make mistake with dates. Most of COE have been extended until spring next year. And if not, if your COE is not in the category extended, I'm sure they will make sure it doesn't expire. But refer to your sponsor to make sure that your COE will be valid. Sorry for not being too specific here. I'm just so sad because this means at least 3 more months of online classes at 5 a.m. Salvador, I'm really fully understand you and many of your situation. What we can try to do is we can try to ask to the Japanese, the Ministry of Education, to continue to process the screening certificates, or just take out this extra step so whenever they reopen the borders, at least people can enter right away, and hopefully it won't be 3 more months. But this is something we need to start working from now on. How do you estimate those chances? So Avertio say, you mentioned earlier that you are pushing for the abolition of the screening certificate, at the very least in the resumption. How do you estimate those chances? To be honest, I have no idea, because that came up from the meeting I had with schools at 9 p.m. Let's ask for that because of this new ban. So we want to try to use this time to get something positive for you waiting, but I cannot really give you an estimate. I will be lying to you if I give you even a percentage. You know, even if I say I'm not sure, I just no idea. We just try our best. Yeah, Kai Danlan and the international business consulates surely will be strong against this. I also agree. They will definitely put a lot of pressure. Yeah, the procedures are so strict. How could anybody even bring COVID to Japan and manage to infect people with all this procedure? I agree. Like, you know, they made this procedure, okay, very strict. We are ready to follow. What's the point now in banning everyone from all over the world like that, and also for a month, while many other countries, they say 5 days, they said a week or 2. They stopped today. Yeah, I think you're talking about the screen certificate. It has been stopped as well. For all of you that feel really down today, of course I'm extremely it's extreme. I understand 100%, and I'm very sorry for the situation, but please also understand that you're not alone. As you can see here, I just randomly started a streaming. There are over 200 people connected. There is 1,000 people in the same situation, and we will get through that. It will be over, in the sense that, you know, we will be able to be in Japan. It's just like it needs you to sometimes not just think about being in Japan only, but maybe having something else to focus on for a while. If you need a plan B, it's perfectly fine. If you want to prepare for something else in case you cannot enter by this day, or even if you 100% just want to be in Japan, or you cannot, like for example, someone wrote before, I think it was Lisette, said, this is the language I have to study for my career. Okay, so that's, you cannot change that, but while you're waiting, try to do something else, because otherwise this is in some cases it's really too much to take. Some people can just change destination. In that case, you know, you can go and study in Korea. As I mentioned before, I also have a service called Gogoanguk that's help people that want to live and study in Korea. You can contact us. Students are actually going right now to Korea. They went all year because Korea never closed the borders. They're not closing the borders, not even now. So their policy is completely different. while the Japanese government has a much stricter policy. So it will be like this for a while. So hopefully the border will reopen and students will start to get in, workers and families will start to get in, but we always need to keep in mind that Japan has this stricter policy, while other countries like Korea have shown for months that they don't have such a strict policy, and still with quarantine people can enter. JR, thank you for your comment, I really appreciate that. I don't know what people are saying, because we lost someone. Okay, yeah. I think I agree with that. We lost one student. If keep repeating the same message, maybe I can stop it. What if Japan doesn't open after a month, like last year? Okay, and after this, after that. So I personally don't think it will be same as last year, because we have many more people vaccinated, and the situation is so different. But of course, I cannot say that it will surely open after 1 month, to be honest. So that's, we just need to see. I think the first focus will be on how dangerous is this variant. And sorry guys, this water is sparkling actually, so that's why it's making me like this. But so one thing is focusing on the variant. Hopefully it's not as dangerous as it some governments think. And other thing is to keep pressuring the government to understand again that students, workers should enter the country. So those are the two things that can really help in a month, but there is no guarantee for that. Muimo-chan, thank you for your comment. We have a Discord group. Guys, feel free to come to Discord. I'll see if I can post the link here as I did last time. Let me see if I can get it here. I'll see if I can find the link. For some reason I never find the link when I need it, but I will. Is it actually in the description of this video? So you can find it there. Okay, I'm just going through a few more comments. My fear is that if the new variant is discovered in Japan, they will shut the borders for much longer. What the vaccine force for? Yeah, I mean, with vaccination like this, they should surely be a bit more flexible with the situation. But again, the government has shown to be extremely strict, extremely cautious. So we should also prepare for a plan B and a plan C if these get extended. I think you want to start really looking into another plan, at least to keep your mind also busy, not to order a spritz. Yeah, I think I need a spritz now, or maybe not a good idea because it's already midnight. I'm getting crazy, so I like to talk with anyone with my same problem about Japan. Alejandro, feel free to join our Discord community, or stick around in the comments here, or if anyone wants to offer, for you to have a small group, a small chat. I think it's a really good idea to maybe have a group of people to support each other right now. I mean, you're always going to have my support, but also I think it's very important to get support of people in the same situation, because between you students or between you workers, people waiting to enter Japan, you really share the same struggle right now. What do you think? Can we enter to Japan by January? Top videos. I would love to say something, but I think I will be just making a guess, and I don't want to do it right now since the news just came up today. I want to see a little bit and then let everyone knows what I think. What I know is that we will do everything we can to ask the Ministry of Education to continue the procedure of issuing the examination certificate or taking it out completely. So at least when the borders reopen, students can enter right away, because all these 3 weeks, if at least students could have entered, it would have been so much better, right? If all of you that had the chance to enter could have entered, I think that was a huge missed opportunity. I'm not even here to criticizing closing the borders for a new variant, because many governments are doing it. But Japan, who hasn't accepted anyone, just announced of borders to opening, which actually were not really open because the procedure was so difficult. And then closing the borders again, that make things really sad and unfair and very bitter for everyone. And we really feel that no one had the chance to enter, because no one had the chance to enter. So I think that's the biggest problem, all this procedure. And that has to really change whenever they decide to reopen, hopefully soon. How I wish I can do something else, as you said, as a student, consider time difference plus 8 hours, it seems impossible. I think, if Anna, you refer to, you must attend online classes in the middle of the night. How can you do something else? I understand that. I know it's very difficult. I'm just trying to give all of you the best advice I may have, but I understand in some cases it's very, very difficult. So please don't think I'm ignoring all your struggles and issue. Is just the best advice I can give. But I understand for some of you there is the extra hurdle of having to wake up in the middle of the night and then sleeping during the day. How can I do something else? And I believe your school doesn't let you pause the online lesson for a while, right? Because maybe you are in an exchange program, or you are at university and you can't really easily pause university. So I'm sorry for the extra issue. It's all Japan's fault. They gave us hope, but not a justification about when we will enter Japan. They have a preach. I hate in my heart. I actually think Japan is gonna create, because of this, also a lot of hate. I just wanna. I personally think the Japan government is the main issue here. Not necessarily Japanese companies or Japanese people and things like that. But at the end, I understand how bad could be the feeling for who's not here, who's outside and waiting to enter Japan. What about the residents in Japan? Can they travel and come back to Japan? Yes, Yam. Since I'm a resident in Japan, I can still now go out and enter back. However, from certain countries, including I think the UK today, they also included the UK, but there are I think 14 countries where if I re-enter, I need to stay in the government hotel. I cannot quarantine in my house, even if I have an apartment in Japan. But I can still go out and in, same as Japanese people. So there is no difference between Japanese residents and Japanese people, like foreign residents and Japanese people. Okay, so there are just so many comments. So sometimes the YouTube screen, I'm just reading the comments on YouTube, and the screen is just refresh in a strange way, and I miss all the comments. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm sorry about the students, but I think there is a person that okay, this is commenting too many things the same thing, and I just hide the person. In January 2021, Japanese government did not give a reopening date, right? Yes, correct. So actually what happened in January, it's a bit strange, because unofficially I think they said at the beginning, Mohammed, at the beginning they said that they were going to reopen when the state of emergency was going to be removed, but then the state of emergency was removed and they didn't reopen the borders. But then after that they just extended indefinitely. They never had a date where they were going to reopen. But this time also, to be honest, it's not really a date. They just mentioned that they will close for 30 days. They didn't say they will reopen in 30 days. So we are a bit in a very gray area, which we have been living for 2 years. And again, this gray area is coming back, and Japan government can do anything they want in 30 days, to be honest. With that sentence, they are master on this, right? They're saying those sentences, and and they could reopen the borders in 30 days, they could keep them closed after 30 days, they could remove countries. Everything will work with the sentence they made. There are many things that they do pretty bad, but using those sentences, they are from a government point of view, I think they are good at, and they can do anything in 30 days. It's a very, very great way to say, right? Do you think stopping screen certificate is kind of weird? Screening certification was to get people in wave instead of all together, right? So stopping is just counterproductive. Yeah, very to say. I think they should have kept doing it so people are ready to enter. So I think I hope that we can convince them to restart or just remove the screening certificate. I agree that it's not a good thing to stop. Are MEX students immune to the new COVID variant, Rick? It seems so, because magically they can still keep entering. So I'm sure they have developed a MEX vaccine or something. I don't know, but from the way they are treated, it seems that. And I'm nothing against MEX students. I'm really happy that at least they can enter. So we are not saying to stop them to enter. They should enter. Same as other students, same as workers, same at least as long-term residents, right? Powerhouse, we need to help Japan accountable. They should be accountable, but it's a very difficult thing to do. But yeah, I agree. They've really damaged a lot of people with these decisions. We all know the closure is going to be longer than 1 month. Squeaky, I don't know, to be honest. I fear it, but I don't know. I can say, because if this new variant in 2 weeks we realize it's nothing worrying and all the other governments open, I think the pressure with Japan to Japanese government will be so high. So I still have hope that it won't be as long as we fear, but we don't know. If everyone reopen in 30 days, everyone will just expect it's a joke, not to be negative. No, Dwayne, I think everyone expressed his opinion, but why do you think it's a joke if they reopen in 30 days? Other countries are saying they will evaluate after 5 days, after 2 weeks. So Japan even saying 30 days is already the strictest, the more conservative and strictest decision in all over the world. Even Australia is posing the reopening for 2 weeks. I think the UK said 5 days. I may be wrong with dates. It's midnight here in Japan. It was a very busy day, so my mind is starting to get a bit foggy. But I don't think it will be a joke if they reopen after 30 days. They just said they want to evaluate this new variant. They just build different. Yeah, I think MEX students are built different. Anesh, I've been waiting to enter from April 2020. I'm really sorry for the situation. Kentin, no, students are not allowed to enter from tomorrow. Everything has been blocked, not just students but also workers and other business visas. And yeah, they might just scrap the screen certificate like the scrapped residence truck. They keep making up all these extra steps, then forget about them. Hopefully, at least they will do so. Hello, it's possible to ask school to make a kind of hybrid courses. I mean, online, real time, and by video. It could help for who wake up at 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning. This thing will be long. What do you mean with okay, so I think you mean not too much, not 4 hours or even more of real time, but shorter real time and then videos. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea, Simone. I'll mention, but I know that the schools took 1 year or even more just to get to this point, and it takes, especially for Japan, where everything has to be so accurate. It takes time to change the procedure again, or the way they do online courses again. But I think it's a good idea. Actually, the online course that we did at Gogo NIHON is completely by video, because we know that because of time difference and also other projects that someone has in life, is really hard to be online for the 4 hours, same 4 hours every day. So we just made a video that you can just access whenever you have time, from wherever you are, from any device, which I think it's a better way to think about online courses. Still, you have a community in our online courses. Still, you have a community that you can access. Benjamin, I just joined the live stream. What is the general view from any schools you have spoken with today? Okay, so I think that's worth to repeat. That's worth to repeat because it's a good point. So I spoke with school at 9 p.m. in Japan. Now it's midnight, so it was 3 years ago. 3 hours ago, not 3 years ago. It was 3 hours ago. And so the common feeling, of course, they're still kind of figuring out all the info since the news just came today. And the common feeling is that it's extremely shocking and a bad news, since all the work that has been done to prepare the screening certificate now has stopped and no students could enter. They're very disappointed about the government decision, extremely disappointed. It's extremely damaging for the whole study abroad industry. Very, very strong disappointment. So they want to, of course, fight. They want to move to try to improve things. And they suggest, we decided together to, number one, make a formal request as soon as possible, asking for the time where the borders are closed, at least one, you keep processing the screening certificate so we can be ahead of our work when the border reopens, students can enter right away, or just take it out completely. So I think the goal would be, when the border reopens, people are able to go to Japan right away. I'm not saying this is surely going to happen, but we will try to make this happen. Plus, we also want to make an event with schools and students and also inviting media from all over the world, not just Japan this time. We want to also have media from outside Japan, because we want everyone to understand, again, how unfair this has been for who has been waiting to enter Japan, students, workers, families, especially consider the fact that Japanese people even now can still go out and in. And some categories like MEX students can still come in. Actually, it's been said that they can still come in. So that's what we're going to be doing in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully the situation will improve until then. It's a lot of frustration. Yeah. School fees reduction. I hope schools understand also that for the online courses there should be some kind of reduction. I know that schools put the same amount of efforts, because they have to put the same teachers, the same facilities. They still need the classes to film and everything, but at the same time for the students has been extremely a tough time. So I hope they can reduce the fees as well. Israel also banned all countries, but students are still allowed to enter. Xion are you sure about it? Or for 2 weeks Israel said no one can enter? This is a real question, because I don't know so many details. So I'm curious to know if Israel also have banned everyone for 2 weeks, or only tourists, for example. Just scrolling down. Iku, hi Iku. In 2020, the borders closed 10 days before my departure. This time it's 12 days. I feel cursed. I don't think it's your curse or your something. It's just an extremely bad situation with many people have been through. Of course, people like you, Iku, got the worst of it, because you've been waiting for so long and still not able to enter Japan. But the way that the government has moved in these 2 years have really affected negatively so many people, and no one of this is anyone's fault, because no one could expect this to happen 2 years ago, and now no one had the chance to enter. I mean, there is nothing you could have done to enter in November, even though they made it look that the borders were open for 3 weeks. They weren't. So that's the situation. For inappropriate schools, the screening certificate, when we will get, at the moment all the screening certificates are stopped. It seemed that the inappropriate school could get it February, March next year, so students could enter in April, but that's not official. It's just what the schools were rumoring. But right now, again, there are so many things going on that that could change as well, right? I really hope there is a solution, Jeremy, for all of this, because I think going to work and study in Japan is very important for many of us, especially when some of us have put a lot of effort. Absolutely. I really hope that all of you, or as many as possible as you, eventually, after all this struggle, find their way to Japan. And you know, you can accomplish what you are planning to, even if it happens months or even years later that you wanted. I think I said in one of my previous video that, you know, all of you have a life that goes on regardless of the time you will be in Japan, and you can still use this time to focus on something that you could have not be able to do if you were not in Japan. I know that it's really tough, but let's use this time positively, and let's try really to maybe work on something new, something different while we're waiting to enter Japan, if you can wait. If you're not, you can find another destination. I mentioned Korea before at the beginning of the video. Thank you. I cannot read your name, but thank you, Davide, for your kind support. Thank you for your comment. Let's hope for the best and try to get the best of the situation. Absolutely. My voice is getting down. I've been talking for long, and it's later than midnight here, and it's been a very long day. Now imagine this news came up in the office and we had to figure it out. I think we sent a message to Google New students, so we're going to send it tomorrow morning, plus all the students that we were processing to enter this year. So everything has been it's been a very intense day for us here too. EQ3, trying to decide where to give up or not. Maybe listening here will give me ideas. Okay, you shouldn't listen to me at midnight because my tension is really low right now. But yeah, I think as I mentioned before, a good thing is to if you can still wait, while you wait, you just work on something else. Try to keep yourself busy with something else, because this wait is really getting very long. Okay, student visa holders who are fully vaccinated recovered will be allowed to enter Israel at this time, as long as they are not traveling from red countries. Okay, thank you for that, Shionbun. I didn't know the details. So Israel actually is not blocking everyone, based on what Shionbun said. I don't have the information, but I was just reading that. Yeah, the G7 meetings are doing a meeting about the variant. I think that the future of the Japanese borders will depend on the decision that the other countries will make about their own borders. Victor, normally in a normal situation with G7 that should guarantee reciprocity and uniform decision, I would say yes, but it showed before that Japan may even not listen. So we should definitely pay attention to the G7 leader meeting, but we shouldn't assume 100% that Japan will follow. Sir, please tell me re-entry open or not. Re-entry, so if you're already in Japan, you can go out and in. Re-entry, yes. Okay. Chris Board, abroad in Japan and enjoy the anime man, commented on the students being banned on Twitter. If you can get him on board, that would be a huge presence of us. Thank you very much, Elliot. I think if you have any, if you're part of any community where big influencers are also there, and you can reach them, and you can have as many people as possible to talk about it, it will definitely help, because obviously as many people are talking about it, not just in Japan, but also in foreign countries, and as many people as aware about this situation endless, that actually no one could enter this November, even though Japan said that they reopened the borders, and then just they close again, and they close the longest than any other country. I think as much as we can do that, we can surely push things a bit more on our side. Yeah, the government should try and do their meeting at 1 a.m. in the morning, like the students who have to study online at the moment. I'm sure if the government had to, I'm sure if people in the government couldn't go abroad for their work or couldn't have their kids to study abroad, I'm sure they will take out the ban immediately. So I agree that they don't have the same rules right now. That's why they don't feel what we are feeling, and that's why they make these rules. But yeah, so I'm starting to get. I know a lot of you are still here. Again, a huge thank you for all of you as always for your support. But as you probably can tell from my voice, I'm starting to get a bit tired. It's over midnight. It was a very long day, very long day. I will have an event with schools, inviting international media and Japanese media to talk about the situation, because I think it's very important to raise awareness. As always, huge thank you for all your help, sharing my videos, and trying to help me to raise awareness about the situation of students, foreigners, like workers, families stranded outside Japan. If you can reach influencers like Elliot mentioned before, asking them to talk about it, I think it's huge, because I don't have that huge reach on social media, and people with a big reach can definitely have more journalists to be aware. We want to have maybe BBC, CNN. Yeah, CNN is still saying on their website that Japan is open. Like, it's crazy for me. Like, it's a huge media outlet like CNN still doesn't have the information right, and we know that when Japan opened the borders for the first 2-3 days, everyone was saying Japan reopened the borders, but actually no one could enter Japan. So I think it's important that the world understand how the situation is right now, so there is more international pressure on Japan as well. I mean, the more pressure we can put, the closer we get to the ban to be removed. I will be fighting with all of you, so I will be here. I cannot change things by myself. I'm together with language schools mostly, and also Gogo NIHON. The team of Gogo NIHON has always been supporting students. We are doing everything we can. We work every day. Sometimes we cannot answer all your questions because just we don't have the information from the government or from the Ministry of Education. Sometimes we take a bit longer to answer because, as you can imagine, we have thousands of students actually waiting right now, and it's really hard to process everything at the same time, but we will not leave anyone behind, of course. We will always make sure that whenever the border opens, people can enter Japan. So please understand that too. We're doing everything we can. What I ask is when we have our next event, when we have a video like this, please help me share, because again, I don't have a huge reach, but thanks to you actually, even this live video was watched by, I think, 2,000 people already in total. So that's huge. In only 1 hour, with over 300 concurrent views at the same time. So I think that's really I'm so thankful for you, because thanks to your support, at least we can we could do so much. I mean, we could get the borders open once and open. I mean, it wasn't really open, but we could get to that point. And then now this new variant came, and the government is extremely conservative, closing them again. But we were able to open them once. We will open them again. And what we want to make the government understand is that they should keep them open and let people safely come. If they need quarantine, people will quarantine, students will quarantine, workers will quarantine. There are means nowadays, there are means to let foreigners to enter a country, like many other countries in the world have shown. There are means to do so and be safe for the population in Japan. So that's what we will continue saying, and we will keep saying, and eventually they even the Japanese government will understand us. So I will not give up until then. Take some rest. Yes, I definitely need some rest now. Thank you, Iko, for the advice. It was a very long day. I know for you it was a very long day too, and I'm really sorry for all you've been going through. We are a strong community though. We will be in Japan, you will be in Japan, and I will do my best to support you as always. And thank you very much for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Mata ne!